Hello, um, Kelsey Joanne Rogers. I'd like to speak to you today about online education. This is a question I get asked quite a lot. Why do I teach online? And people are mostly quite skeptical about if it works, if it's not just watered down information, and if it really does help us learn the way that we expect it to, like the other forms of education we are used to. So we know that, it's always education started off in the classroom. We're familiar with that model. In fact, that model hasn't really changed over the last 100 years. Then we've started with correspondence, and we went on to watching videos and learning from videos. But now we have this interesting thing where we still face to face, but we're doing everything through an online medium. So let's just chat about that for a little bit. I was skeptical too about online education. However, when I was around 16, I was in high school, I really wanted to take online courses or just music courses that were university courses. And the only way that I could do this while still being in high school was to do it online. So I thought, why not? Let me try a course. And I started with the Berkeley online courses, and I was just blown away about how effective the communication was. You can still meet with the teacher. It's in a way more personal because when you online, you get somehow a little bit more time with the teacher when they're right there, because it's not driving here, rush here, do this. I also realized that all the information was there for me to reread, or if something I didn't quite remember, I could just go back to it. There were links to everything. I could delve as deep into the subject as I wanted. So it's very, very interesting. Another thing that I realized with my own experience of teaching online is I started teaching all in-person lessons or offline lessons. And for example, I teach violin. And then I started online teaching, and I realized how much more rapidly the people online progressed than my offline students. And I started to ask myself, why is that? And the realization I came to is that when you're there in person, you can easily impose whatever you know onto the person without actually explaining what it is, why they're doing it, or waiting for them, having really putting into practice that they understand the information first. I guess it's like if you're driving in a car somewhere and you don't really notice where you're going, but the person is driving you and you kind of remember some things. Or as opposed to someone telling you where to go and giving you that map. Yeah, it takes a little bit longer to start the journey, but once you're on the journey, then you always remember how to go back to that place. So it's a very different approach. And I find, for example, if I'm offline, let's say we're correcting a bow hold on the violin. Oh, do this, fix this, change your arm here, do that. That's what I would do in person. But I found online I had to explain, no, you need to lift your wrist this way because you need to get that effect. And you start thinking about that. So it's really, really interesting, and it really helps the students to understand when you explain everything. And yes, you can do that offline, but it's so much easier to just quickly progress and show them. But what happens is the student, okay, you fix something, they go home, forget about it. Come back the next week, try it again. Oh, I remember it. And then go back. And it's a majority of weeks that go by instead of being explained to, really letting it sift through our brains and then, coming up with it. So that was my experience. No, I mean, the other few things that I can mention is that it is a lot more comfortable. You pick a place where you feel comfortable and you learn from that place. So it's really important instead of going to another place which, oh, you always noticing people walk past, or you thinking, what does that person think, or what does this, there's a lot more comfort, and I think that the more receptive we are, it really helps to learning. um, I also think that obviously we know that the lower total costs, there's less total costs involved because you're just paying for the thing that you really want instead of the transport or the documents, or, everything's via email. And that's another thing. You can reach, because that electronic pathway is open, you can reach your teacher at any other time. And it's really, really special to do that. The other thing I would say is that it's convenient, it's flexible. You can contact the teacher. Can we do this instead of this? Or if something goes amiss, it's easier to rectify. And lastly, I think that it's more interactive in a way, because if, let's say, I teach, at my studio, and I put this student from 4 to 5, this one from 5 to 6, and so on and so on, it's very tight. But with online, because you need a little more time to, check the connection or get there or set up, you end up giving at least 15 minutes to half an hour more to the student where you're just talking to them. And I think that is invaluable time when you really actually just get to talk with your teacher and really learn from them. So, of course, there's negatives. The network connection could happen, and that could be a miss. But, I mean, it's the same as the car breaking down, or there's traffic, or, so I really am impressed with online education, and I love the way that people learn with it. So, now I just like to take you through a little presentation of Zoom. And it's interesting because this shows you exactly what you can teach online and how accessible information is. The minute the student asks, you can answer. So let's have a quick look at Zoom. Okay, great. So here we go. This is Zoom. I can unmute and start my video if I want to with the person who's on the other side. And the cool thing about this, I can share my screen. So have a look. This is my screen. The student will be seeing exactly this, and I can share things so quickly. Like, for example, okay, we're learning this today. Can you see this? And I can circle different things. I have all the tools to erase. It really makes it a whiteboard basically on anything, which is absolutely incredible. The other thing is that I can, let's say I open up this document. Okay, so I composed this. Have a look here. Why don't you think I can perhaps what about this note, and I can change the note. I can do whatever. It's in a software. I can change a whole section. And really show like exactly what I'm doing. This is how I would do this, this is how I would do this, and I'm just making examples now, and really be able to show the softwares as well. Furthermore, if I want to show people something like this, then let's just clear my drawing. Then I can go here and people can see what I've done on this section, and I can explain it. And yeah, this is really, really great. If they ask any questions, let's say we're talking about Shrek, I can say, okay, here, why don't we go to these filmmakers, and let's just click on Andrew Adamson, and we can look at him, which company he is involved with, etc. So that's really great if we have any questions or anything, absolutely. So this is just a quick overview. I can stop my share, and this is a really lovely way I can chat to the students, and On top of everything, they can record the whole session and re-watch it as their own personal video. So this is the amazing tools of learning online, and you can see that it far outweighs sitting in class trying to quickly write things down and listen to people at the same time. So here we go. Great. Well, now we've had a look at Zoom, and I hope you can see the benefits of online education and why it may be more applicable now and more than ever before. And I think it's really where the future is going. It's a great resource, so I hope you will and you enjoyed the video and you'll give it a try. Cheers.